This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
Good Tuesday morning to you. It is a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeart Radio, YouTube TV, Sirius XM Channel 158. It's Gil Alexander. That right there is Kelly Midland.
Hey-o. Good morning.
Happy NBA Cup final day.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I'm pumped.
Literally, let's go.
Literally, let's go.
Yes, let's go.
Just did Hardwood Handicappers with the Zach Cohen.
Can I talk to you about your sport?
NBA Cup fever.
Yesterday, after the Steelers game, which we'll get to momentarily, Steelers and Dolphins. I had an under on the Rockets and the Nuggets.
I had the Rockets side. Money line.
237.5 was your number. And with 2:20 left in that game, 213 basketball points have been scored.
Yeah.
213, right?
Yeah.
They proceed to score 20 points in a 2-minute span. This is your league. So it's 117-116 with 2 seconds left. And the team that's down, the Nuggets, have the basketball to inbounds. They still can't lose, right? It's a 1-point margin. Mm-hmm. You can't lose. Mm-hmm. And then Tim Hardaway Jr. trips over his own 2 feet, and they call a foul on the Rockets. And the Rockets challenge, despite replay, it doesn't get upheld. Doesn't get overturned.
Ime Udoka not happy after the game.
Jamal Murray hits a free throw, and the Nuggets win in overtime, and everybody loses, including your bet.
Yes.
That felt like they took a game from the Rockets. Forget our bets for a second.
Oh, my God. Okay, so not that we meant to lead with this, but Zach and I were just going crazy about this, too. I'm not one to normally, it's NBA betting. I go through this for hundreds of games a year, right?
Yeah.
Like, there are times where calls or refs are going to beat me, but you usually don't feel like, well, I never had a shot because of the refs, right?
It's incredible.
You started to have that feeling about that game last
Anyway,
night.
we didn't mean to start the show with that, but that's front of mind since we bring up the NBA Cup tonight, which we will talk about between the Spurs and the Knicks. Jake Hahn on the NHL coming up. Jeff Erickson talking some NFL with us. Drew Dinsick on the NBA and NFL as well. Week 16 in the National Football League. So we will talk Survivor as well. 10 entries left in Circus Survivor. We always struggle with, do people want to hear about Survivor when there's only like 10 people left? Let alone the 10 people. They're not listening to us, right? They've gotten this far. But I think when there's 18 million on the line, people actually care.
Yeah.
So we'll go through it courtesy of Kay Florenz, K-Flo on Twitter, who helps out with the stats. We'll go through what everybody has to play this week and what they've got left for Christmas, which is kind of interesting because remember, it's not just 3 weeks left for these guys. It's 4 with the Christmas quirk, and at least one person is fenced in with the Mahomes injury. That's the thing, man, with these one guy, if the wrong guy gets hurt, you're in trouble.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just how wildly different does the Christmas Day games look just a week later, too?
Absolutely.
And a
little later on, Jim Root on college basketball. James Savoy, who won the VSiN Average Joe Contest winner, he'll be in studio as well.
That's right. He's hanging out in the book already.
Is he really? Yeah. All right, looking forward to that. Looking forward to all of it. But we begin with the Steelers and the Dolphins last night, which the Steelers end up winning going away, though it got a little cosmetic towards the end. 28-15, but this was 28-3 at one point in a, again, there's always something interesting in some of these NFL ball games. This one, there's not much to talk about early other than Tua threw a pick on the Dolphins' second possession to Asante Samuel when the Dolphins were in plus territory. They were at 1st and 10 at the Pittsburgh 40, and it was just a reminder. They threw up a stat at that point that said all of Tua Tagovailoa's 15 picks this year were all facing zone defense.
Huh.
And I thought that was fascinating because it really does lend to what Troy Aikman was harping on last night, which is after all these years in the league, he's clearly not seeing things out there. He's either not seeing them, he doesn't get what he's seeing, he's easily fooled, whatever it is. Just some strange passes from Tua, who now goes to 0-6, by the way, in games of under 40 degrees Fahrenheit. We love that stat.
It also, like, that opening pick, you were like, well, there he is. There he is.
That's
Gil.
exactly the 3 words I say. I go, there he is.
But then you look at like the stat line at the end, and you're like, "Yeah, this is pretty good. Okay."
So punts back and forth. It's a scoreless game, and then Riley Patterson hits a 54-yard field goal through the cold temperatures, through the gusts, to take the lead, to give the Dolphins the lead 3-0 with 5:11 left in the second quarter. And this is where the game turns, and it's often a little detail, right? So Patterson, after kicking the 54-yarder, which I believe was a career long, if I'm not mistaken, he then kicks the ensuing kickoff short of the zone.
Love it.
And how many great comebacks or great football games, great offensive football games start with the opposing kicker kicking the ball short of the zone? 12 plays, 60 yards, 454. Fourth and one at the Miami 15 on that drive. Hayward for 1. 4 plays later, Hayward in from 1. 7-3 Pittsburgh, all the way down with 17 seconds left in the second quarter. That would be the score at halftime. Pittsburgh 7, Miami 3. So if you had Pittsburgh in the first half, you get the money. And it is really worth noting at the end of the first half, that just sounds like, oh, that's what happened, ho-hum. But what ended up happening was the Dolphins tried using their timeouts to preserve time for themselves on offense, but with the yard markers not like, in a way that it was 16 and then 6 and then the goal line as opposed to like the 10-yard line and goal line. Yeah. Announcers never harp on this kind of thing. The Dolphins could only do so much, and then Pittsburgh played it optimally because instead of trying to throw the ball in the end zone and allow the Dolphins time, they're just like, we're going to, from short yardage, we're just going to run as many times as possible to milk as much off this. Because they had a double dip opportunity, and it was executed perfectly. It was like the clunkiest double dip, but it was effective. So 7-3 at the half. They come back. Pittsburgh gets the ball to begin the second half. 6 plays, 71 yards. Gainwell for 38, the big play on 1st and 10 at their own 42 plays later. Rodgers to Marquez Valdez-Scantling, his old teammate in Green Bay, from 19 out. 14-3 Pittsburgh. 11:20 left in the third quarter. Then Miami gets the ensuing kickoff because at the 40 because it was short of the zone, but they couldn't do anything with it. They went backwards. They actually lose 8 yards on a 3-and-out. Pittsburgh goes 10 plays, 77 yards in 4:08. Drive extended by a replay-assisted 12 men on the field on 3rd and 3 at their own 30. And so, yes, the blowout was already beginning, but good God, if the Dolphins were going to get back in this game, maybe they could have used replay assist not showing up randomly. And it did. And again, I'm not saying it was wrong. It was the correct play. Rodgers knows when there's 12 men on the field. Yeah. He tries to snap it quickly. But why did replay assist show up on that and not anything else? It's so random. 8 plays later, Rodgers to DK Metcalf from 28 out. Rodgers slipped the pass by Ashton Davis by an inch. Amazing yards after the catch from DK, threw Minkah Fitzpatrick away. Then he stiff-armed Jordan Brooks into the end zone. 21-3 Steelers. 4:58 left in the third quarter. Miami ensuing 3-and-out. At this point, Miami had minus 22 total yards in offense in the second half. Tua should have been picked by Alex Highsmith on second down on that sequence, so it could have been worse. Then Pittsburgh goes 9 plays, 81 yards, 5:11 off the clock on what would have been a 3-and-out, but the drive extended by a horrific taunting call on Jordan Brooks after third down. That was just terrible. 6 plays later, Jonnu Smith in from 14 untouched. At this point, the Dolphins' defense was just, we're making stops, and we can't even make stops based on some calls. 28-3 Pittsburgh with 13:01 left. Then Miami does get cosmetic. 6 plays, 65 yards, took 3:20 off the clock. Tua to Waller from 6 out, 28-9. 2-point try fails. Next time they got the ball, and this is what frustrated Troy Aikman, and really, if you're watching this game, should have frustrated all Dolphins fans or backers. They kind of lollygag their way up the field now, down 19. 9 plays, 86 yards, but it took 4:51 off the clock. They're in no rush, no urgency. Tua to Waller from another touchdown score, 28-15, 2-point try fails. Troy at this point with 2:32 left, down 13, says, quote, "They might onside kick it here." All right, good call, Troy. Pittsburgh, after the onside kick fails, and by the way, onside kicks this year, 4 for 47 if you're scoring at home.
There's been 4?
4 have succeeded.
Wow, okay.
Pittsburgh goes 3-and-out. So Miami, and Miami uses all their 3 timeouts. They get the ball back from their own 2 with 2:04 left. But maybe if they had shown some more urgency, this would have been somewhat different. Probably not in the end, but you get the idea.
Man, we got Christmas plans to think about.
It was strange because they showed no urgency, and then they're frantically calling timeouts to get the ball back, right? So none of it made any sense. Anyway, Pittsburgh wins it 28-15. Rodgers 23 of 27 for 224 in the end. 2 touchdowns, no picks. Tua ends up 22, as you said, Kelly, 22 of 28 for 254. 1 pick, 4 sacks, 2 touchdown passes. It's the first game in NFL history with 2 tight ends scoring rushing touchdowns. Connor Haywood for the Steelers, Jonnu Smith for the Dolphins. Oh, excuse me, other way around. Connor Hayward for the was it Hayward and John? Oh, Connor Hayward and Jonnu both for the
Steelers.
No, Hayward for for both for the Steelers. Pardon me. So, anyway, point being that with that win now, Pittsburgh remains a game ahead of Baltimore for the AFC North lead and are in a situation now because they beat Baltimore the first time. They don't play again until the end of the year, the last game of the year, Week 18. Pittsburgh could lose their next 2 games and it wouldn't matter theoretically. They just have to beat Baltimore. It's the only game that matters now, right? Because they would win even if they fell a game behind Baltimore into that last game. If they beat Baltimore, now it would be at Baltimore, right? Oh, no, it would be at home for the Steelers.
At home, yep.
Yeah. If they win that game, then they'd win on the head-to-head tiebreaker. They will have swept the Baltimore Ravens. So that's an interesting little scheduling quirk. And, of course, for the Mike Tomlin fans out there, the Steelers now at 8-6 need only a tie the rest of the season. At the Lions this week, at the Browns next week, then the home showdown against the Ravens. We think it'll be a showdown. Might not be by that time. Who knows? All they need is a tie for the Mike Tomlin never having a losing season streak to continue.
Man, I think I like my Lions bet even better next week.
In other words, they don't have to go 0-3 based on that situation.
Right, yeah. Just knowing that, yeah, you're right. That's huge for the Steelers to know, right? Just that if you got to win, I mean, pick up a win, right? A win down the stretch, win that last game, and that's all that matters.
They don't want to leave it to that, obviously.
Right, yeah. You don't have to.
There's a game
looking at the Browns and Ravens.
But they know that they have that in their back pocket anyway. Mm-hmm. Look at those make-miss for the Steelers and Ravens for the playoffs. Are those plus money still for the Steelers? Steelers make and Ravens miss? We got to check that. That's next on A Numbers Game.
The college football playoff is here, and VSiN's betting guide is your ticket to cashing in. For just $14.99, you'll get expert previews of every first-round matchup, playoff brackets from VSiN hosts and insiders, and the sharp insight you can't get anywhere else. Or skip the line and get it free with a VSiN Pro subscription. Go to vsin.com/CFP to purchase the guide and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, a network of sports betting analysts, writers, hosts, and handicappers, all here to help you become a more confident bettor. We broadcast live every day from Las Vegas, the sports betting capital of the world, and from studios across the country, giving you insight from every angle of the action. Take VSiN with you wherever you go with the VSiN Watch app, or catch us on streaming platforms and regional sports networks. You can also listen live on SiriusXM Channel 158 and on radio stations nationwide. Check out VSiN.com as well for betting tools, exclusive betting splits, AI-powered player prop projections from Opta, pro picks for every game, plus in-depth betting guides and articles built to give you an edge. From sharp betting analysis and daily best bets to insider interviews and expert breakdowns, VSiN is your trusted source for everything happening in the world of sports betting. See everything we have to offer at VSiN.com and become part of the Sports Betting Network.
Coming up on the next edition of Follow the Money, the playoffs are here. We'll talk college football playoffs with Brett McMurphy, Derek Stevens to update the contest here at Circa with Survivor and Circa Millions. The tip jar is open. Send in your pizza bets. Also, the finals of the NBA Cup here in Las Vegas. Follow the Money, 4 to 7 Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, SiriusXM Channel 158. Check out the website for all the betting tools and analysis, or get the VSiN Watch app.
Numbers Game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Want to bet smarter? Start with Smarter Insights. Right now you can check out the VSiN College Football Playoff Betting Guide, Greg Peterson's college basketball top plays, and Steve Makinen's College Bowl best bets. And later today, you can check out Zach Cohen's NBA picks and props, Jonathan Davis's NHL top plays, and Tyler Shoemaker's men and women's college basketball projections. You can buy the guide right now for $14.99 at VSiN.com/CFP, or get full access to everything we do and sign up for a VSiN Pro subscription at VSiN.com/subscribe. We get tweets at Beating the Book. Always appreciate the feedback. By the way, the answer to the make miss now, it was plus money last night. It's now minus 125 for the Steelers to make, minus 125 for the Ravens to miss. Small plus money on the opposite sides of those. But given Pittsburgh's position right now, where they're at the Browns and then home Ravens to close. If you think again, their magic number, if we use the baseball term,
right,
their magic number is 2. So any combination of Steelers wins and Ravens losses, the Steelers are in the playoffs, which is why we can say they don't even have to do anything the next 2 weeks theoretically. And if you beat the Ravens week 18, you are the AFC North representative in the postseason. Easier said than done, I get it. But that's your position.
I mean, Ravens got Patriots at home, which I've already bet the Patriots. And then it's Packers on the road. And then that game against the Steelers to finish up things. Like, yeah, I don't know. That minus 125 price seems a little light on them to miss. I like that.
It also works the opposite, right? If the Ravens and Steelers match each other this week, 2 wins or 2 losses. Well, what does it mean? It means I'll tell you exactly. Let's phrase it correctly.
I keep wrapping my brain.
No, because there's interesting permutations to the whole thing, right? So it's like in the case of the Ravens and the Steelers, if they both win this week, which is a big if, right? Because they're both playing tough teams. But just theoretically, if they won this week, both of them, next week would be meaningless for both of those teams.
Right.
You can say it that way as well.
You can put it that way, yeah.
Yeah. Not if they both lose, though, because if the Ravens lost the following weekend, the Steelers won, it'd be over.
Mm-hmm.
But so it's just an interesting spot for both of those teams in the AFC North. We get tweets at Beating the Book. This is from Gamar.
And Dolphins, you had a great season.
Dolphins
we'll
done.
see you next year.
Yeah, Dolphins, you're done. You're only mathematically alive before yesterday. You never had a chance. Goodbye. See you later. Gamar, if you believe the Seahawks can beat the Rams Thursday, is 7-1 on the Niners to win the NFC West worth it? If the Niners win out, they'd have the division record tiebreaker and conference record tiebreaker in that scenario. Thoughts? Gamar, I actually spoke about this yesterday. I brought it up during Guessing Lines. That if Seattle beats the Rams Thursday, it's on the Niners racket. The sort of forgotten team.
We talked about it last week when we were going over division odds. If I had to, that was one of the bets I circled. If I had to make a bet right now, if I had to, in the West, it would be the Niners at that price. They're definitely still alive in this thing.
It's tough
as crazy as that seems.
It's tough to know how good they are, right?
Oh, totally.
But they with the Colts, and they play each other this week, those two teams have the toughest remaining schedule, Niners and Colts, toughest remaining 3-game stretch based on aggregate opponent win percentage left in the National Football League.
I just like how many every year, right? Every year, how many teams are we like, man, wasn't even close. Like, that wasn't even close on thinking how good or bad they were going to be, right? The Niners season, we laid out in May, and it hasn't really changed. Like, well, they're going to be dealing with some injuries, but their schedule is really easy, so they're going to be there at the end.
Yep.
And like you're talking about, that's been their whole season, so I don't even really know how good they are. They've been injured, and they keep winning games in an easy schedule.
That's the other thing with the Steelers, too. Their pre-flop season win total was 8.5. So they are on the cusp of going over on that as well.
Mm-hmm.
The Tomlin streak, and of course a playoff berth. Do you think that they are a threat to win a playoff game?
Pittsburgh Steelers?
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Not at all.
Nothing about last night changed your mind?
I don't know. I can't say that, though, because the AFC is... I don't really trust any of those teams. But what are we talking about? It'd probably be a Chargers or Bills matchup.
You're going to be the 4 seed.
Chargers, Bills, Patriots. Yeah, I'll take any of those teams over the Steelers.
Right, because you'll be the 4 seed and you'll host a wild card. You'll host the 5 seed for the first game of the playoffs, right? You're locked into number 4 if you win the AFC North. Chargers, Bills, or Texans currently at Pittsburgh.
Texans, too. Yeah, I guess Texans
Pittsburgh will be a dog no matter who they play there.
Yeah. I don't know. Are they a home dog against the Chargers? Probably still.
By a 1.5 or 2.5?
Yeah,
something like that.
Probably.
I don't know. Get the Chargers in cold weather?
Still, I can't promise you. If that's the matchup, I can't promise you I'd have a bet on that game or that side. If it was Patriots, Bills, or Texans, I'd be in on one of those. Because we could still see the AFC East flip, right?
Yes, we could see that flip. But I'm just saying, as currently the standings show, it's either Chargers, Bills, or Texans at Steelers for a first-round playoff game. In a wild card round game, obviously the Colts have something to say about that on the bottom. The Ravens obviously have something to say about that. And the Bills, as you say, have something to say about that in terms of flipping the AFC East. The NFC equivalent, by the way, either Tampa Bay or Carolina, who play each other twice still, the winner of the AFC South will inhabit the number 4 slot in the wild card round in the NFC. They will host a playoff game, even if they have a losing record, by the way, which is still possible. Mm-hmm. But more likely it's going to be a 9-8 team that wins the AFC South. They will host a playoff game against currently, let's do it by current standings, right? Seahawks, Niners, or Packers. Oh, man. What's the spread on that game?
Yeah.
Let's say it's the Panthers. What's the spread on a Seahawks at Panthers wild card round game? Oh, the pressure on Sam Darnold for that game.
You're going with the Panthers in that situation?
Well, I'm just saying, what would be the nuttiest line you could have? You would have Seahawks at Panthers, right? Or Niners at Panthers.
It's got to be, I don't know. I'm laying anything. That's got to be like 9.5. I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, it's
over a touchdown.
Interesting. Listen, divisions, if you're going to have a sport with divisions have to matter. And so they get a home playoff game no matter what the record is.
God, I hope the Panthers are not in here. I don't need another team to try to figure out in the middle of the playoffs. The Bucks, I think the Bucks could be fun in the playoffs, man. They're getting healthier here. They haven't put it all together yet.
See, I go the opposite of your thinking. I'm more at the Panthers. You know who they are, right? You know that they have a ceiling. The Bucks are tougher to handicap because they could also stink.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a tougher handicap, I think.
We're completely opposite.
You're glass half full on them.
I'm glass half full on them. The Panthers have been the most confusing team to handicap in the past 2 years for me. I have no idea.
Well, that's your little struggle, your little mind comp with the Panthers.
Yeah, it's my NFC leak for sure. Is the Panthers? Every time I bet on them, they suck. I bet against them, they look like world beaters.
J-Rod on Twitter. Definitely excited to hear stories of the ANG field trip to the NBA Cup tonight. What kind of shenanigans will the crew get into? Especially one Kelly Bidlin.
We're just going to a basketball game.
Kelly Bidlin already calling his seat.
Be hard to get
wants to be centrally located.
Yeah. That's about as much shenanigans I'm getting into.
Matt Kryling, Cartman Fan 1. Tua's agent says the better stat is how he plays in games below 40 degrees Celsius. He gets good. He gets good in those. Taylor McKenzie, I have a free bet on the Niners to win the 1 seed. It pays out $5,250. Excuse me. Yeah, so $5,250. How would you hedge or monetize that ticket at all? There's no clean hedge on something like that at this point.
I mean, not right now. I don't even know if there would be in the last week of the year, but you're still live. You're live for sure.
Live. There's way too many shenanigans at this point that could happen for anything
Maybe
clean
just
there.
Think about that as a free lottery ticket you found in your pocket one day.
Eddie Prunella, by our math, I don't know who he's referring to by our, Steelers win the next 2. They lock up tie breaks over the Ravens, meaning even if they lose that last game, they're tied with the Ravens for the division, but hold the tiebreaker over them. Are we wrong? If the Steelers win the next 2, they lock up the tie breaks over the Ravens, meaning even if they lose the last. Oh, I see what you're saying. So the Steelers would
the beyond head-to-head tiebreakers.
I think you are correct as well on that.
I want to circle back. So that is, I have bets. I'm not making this bet because I have bets already that I've made throughout the year on at different times on the Steelers and the Ravens to win the division. So I'm going to lock up money. I'm fine. It's nothing big. If I didn't have those, though, I'd be betting -125 for Ravens to miss. I think this
that's what I mean. That's why I brought it up.
This is a tough hill to climb, man.
I agree. That's why I'm. Last night it was still plus money at some spots. I was like, oh my God, bet those. By this morning, even -125 each way is still not good enough.
I'm with you. I'm going to shop around on the break, actually. See if I can find anything better.
Little in-show betting from Kelly Bidlin. Mike Alvarez, is there a market anywhere for me to bet all the money on the Houston Texans to play in the early window on Saturday wildcard weekend? Yes, it's there. The Houston Texans engraved spot early Saturday. Bill Walsh, we're getting a potential Seahawks-Carolina preview next week. He already has it ready to go. He's got himself a preview ready to go already on that. So anyway, I think those bets are interesting and doable. Panthers Ravens minus 125 to miss. Steelers minus 125 to make, based on all the stuff we've just talked about. The Ravens just have dug themselves a hole, and despite their win over the Bengals, Steelers in the driver's seat in the AFC North with interesting potential first-round wildcard games involving both 4 seeds, AFC North, NFC South. Coming back with hockey, Jay Kahn, next.
Got a good thing coming, just wait and see. It's a good
sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup, then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to vsin.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network. A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Don't forget about Profit X, the 7 days of Profit Xmas. The number one sports prediction market launching the 7 days of Profit Xmas giveaway. From Christmas Day through New Year's, you can win 7 different prizes just by making a $50 play on any CFP first round game on December 19th or 20th. Every $50 qualifying play earns you additional entries. Prizes include clothing brand gift cards and even a $500 credit towards your rent or mortgage. Download Profit X and use promo code VSiN to get started. This is from Sky High on Twitter. I genuinely love the timing of how many things are on teams' rackets this time of year, right when tennis takes a break. Yeah, had to keep it alive somehow. Believe me, we talk enough tennis on this show when tennis is happening, so had to just keep the racket thing happening. But no other tennis talk in between. Let's talk some hockey. Jake Hahn joins us now, courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line from Toronto, Canada. Joining us now from his abode. You can follow Jake on Twitter at jhahn4. That's JHAHN4. Jake, kind enough to join us each and every Tuesday, Tuesday in this spot. I was wondering what day it was there for a second. Once again, co-host of the Point and the Fantasy Hockey Show on Sirius XM NHL, co-host of NHL Fantasy on Ice podcast on NHL Fantasy. What's happening, man? How you doing?
Gil, I'm always happy to talk tennis as well. Maybe we'll save it for January when the Aussie Open kicks off. Maybe I'll mix in some tennis plays with you as well, and we can get that going. But for now, yes, it is strictly hockey, and happy to be with you guys and getting closer and closer to the holiday season here.
Closer and closer to the holiday season. Again, we all start the segment. It's been a little tradition this year. I look at the Eastern Conference standings, 7 points from top to bottom. That's the difference. It's amazing. It's a whole pancake in the East.
It's incredible. Each week, I think, okay, at some point we're going to figure something out, whether that's a team just, going full flaps and playing themselves out of it, or a team or two maybe stepping up and just saying, no, we're going to run away. We're going to take at least a playoff spot. None of that's happened. There was a moment where Tampa Bay made a little bit of a move. Carolina is the one consistent team in the East, but that's what Carolina does every year. You never worry about the Carolina Hurricanes and their playoff spot. The conversation about them is always, can they win come postseason time? They can win rounds. They haven't been able to win the round and actually go all the way. So I think that's the conversation surrounding Carolina. But outside of those two teams, Gil, it's just everyone meeting in the middle still in the East. Even Buffalo, who just fired their general manager yesterday, they still feel like they're kind of in this thing based on where the standings are at.
I love it. We've talked about that before. I love that the NHL has no compunction whatsoever firing coaches and GMs in a way that we are not familiar with in other sports. Like, let's just fire the GM here midway through the season.
Every NHL team does this. I told you guys last year we fired basically everybody. So there's no coaches left to fire this year. Unfortunately, well, it's a good thing. I don't want to see people lose their jobs, but it does give us things to talk about on our show. So I'm glad we could take a year off firing coaches. Maybe now this will be the year of firing GMs. It's basically a yearly tradition in Buffalo. Someone's got to get fired. They haven't made the playoffs in 100 years. So you got to fire a GM, a coach, maybe a trainer. I don't know. Someone's got to go in Buffalo every year to answer for what happens.
Also, trades much more, regular. We saw some this weekend. Impactful to you?
Honestly, one of the bigger midseason trades I think we've seen in terms of Quinn Hughes, who is arguably one of the best defensemen in the National Hockey League. I would have Cale Makar at 1. I think most people would have Quinn Hughes at 2. And having a number 1 defenseman is so important in trying to win a Stanley Cup. So having a guy like that even become available, Gil, is just so rare. And I think there was a lot of teams that were obviously making that phone call, but there was I think a small number of teams that could actually deliver a package that Vancouver would want to trade a player like that. And Minnesota, Bill Guerin, ultimately step up and become that team. And we talk about how kind of weak and the East is all tightening up. where all the good teams lie in the Central Division at the top of the Central now. And with Quinn Hughes joining that mix of teams, you already have Colorado, who's unbelievable, Dallas, who's really good, Minnesota, who's been really strong. Now you put Quinn Hughes on that Minnesota Wild team, and I don't know who's going to make it outside of that side of the bracket, Gil, but it is going to be really tough come postseason time.
Let me just ask you this before we get to your pick. So we had, there's always in any season, in any sport, there's a bunch of teams that have playoff expectations, and they fall short. There's a bunch in the NHL, obviously, with the pancaking, as we say, in the East, and a few in the West as well. Somebody's not going to make it in this group, and I'm curious who you think is the most likely not to. I'll give you 8 options: 5 in the East, 3 in the West. Florida, St. Louis, the Rangers, New Jersey, Ottawa, Vancouver, and Winnipeg. Who of those? Who's the one that leaps off the page? You're like, they're not going to make it.
St. Louis is cooked. They're completely done. There's no way that they make it in my opinion. Even if you want to convince yourself that they're not too far out. The thing with the West, Gil, is we actually have had some separation in the West where teams have kind of moved, and specifically in the Central, no one's catching those teams. So I think the spots for these chase pack teams are limited. You're probably chasing down 1, maybe 2 spots. In the East, you're chasing down 5, maybe 6 spots because nobody's really run away with anything. So there's more opportunity for these teams that are outside of it. I think New Jersey's in some serious trouble as a team I really liked coming into this year. Jack Hughes still on the shelf, their best player, and they have other issues throughout that roster right now. And the Leafs just continue to play too inconsistent. Just when you feel like they're back, they go and play a couple of bad games. They blow a lead to the San Jose Sharks, a team they should certainly beat on home ice. So I would put the Leafs in that category. I'm starting to see the Florida Panthers play some good hockey, which is scary for the rest of the Eastern Conference because they still haven't got Matt Tkachuk back. Alexander Barkov's on the shelf. We don't know if they're even going to get him back this year, but the Panthers are starting to look a little closer to the Panthers again, and everybody kind of waited around for them. So I'm not worried about the Panthers missing, but I'll say the Leafs, the Devils, and I'll throw St. Louis in there from the West, and maybe Winnipeg as well, just because of how far the Central's kind of crept away from them right now.
I think I said 5 East and 3 West, but I think I went 4 and 4 actually in the end there. All right, let's get to your picks. Let's start with the Wild. You just mentioned the Quinn Hughes trade. Wild in action tonight. You like them?
These are 2 teams I really like. It's like picking between 2 of your kids, Gil. These are 2 teams I back a lot throughout the course of this season, Washington and Minnesota. So ultimately, yeah, I could just pass and say I love both kids. I'm not going to play it. Maybe I'll play the regulation tie and see if I can get it to overtime, which could happen with an East and a West team. But I'm going to go with Minnesota. I just think this team has received a spark from that big trade. You get Quinn Hughes in there. They're on home ice where they tend to play relatively well. I'm assuming this is a Wallstedt game. They usually alternate their goaltenders in Minnesota. They go Wallstedt, Gustafsson, and Gustafsson got the last game. So I'm going to assume they go back. They go to Wallstedt. Even if they do go to Gustafsson, I trust them enough. I like Minnesota on home ice as a short favorite there.
Islanders are at the Red Wings. Red Wings at the top of the Eastern, not top of the Atlantic Division, not the top of the Eastern. The top of the Atlantic Division in the Eastern Conference. Pardon me. What do you think about this one? Islanders at Red Wings. Red Wings a minus 126 favorite.
The Islanders are one team I continue to believe in more and more the more I watch this team. They have something going on. They drafted first overall last year. They get Matt Schaefer on the back end, 18-year-old kid, and he's just injected so much life into this team, and he's soaking up big minutes on the back end. He's producing a lot of offense, but everybody else in this lineup seems to be going. So I just think they have something going on within that room, and they could basically beat anybody on any given night. Detroit, I find, is a pretty average team. They can show you some good stuff. They can show you some bad stuff. I think the Islanders at plus money here is value. I rate them a little bit higher than the Detroit Red Wings, and the fact that they're on the road doesn't really bother me here. I'll take the Islanders, Matt Schaefer to keep things rolling in Detroit tonight.
All right, Rangers hosting the Canucks. Canucks the worst team by points in hockey this year thus far.
Well, the team that just sold Quinn Hughes in the Vancouver Canucks, everything seems to be kind of falling apart there, although they did win their last game after the trade, so take that for what it's worth. But you get a Rangers team that just played last night, but no travel. They stay at Madison Square Garden, back-to-back games at MSG. I tend to like teams in that spot, guys. I know we always look at back-to-backs. The second half is a bit of a tricky spot, but anytime you get these rare situations where you get a back-to-back where you don't travel at all, and you lose the night before, I think that's a good spot for the team to bounce back and just say, okay, guys, we can get right back to the arena. And you get a very gettable opponent here in Vancouver, who I know they won their last game. This is just not a good hockey team. So I'll take the Rangers to bounce back after what wasn't the greatest of performances on Monday night. Short favorite here. I think this is a good spot to bounce back for the Rangers.
All right. Wouldn't be a Jay Kahn segment without some props. You got some points props. You got some shots props. What do you got?
Yeah, the shot props are specifically for Kelly there, but I got Kirill Marchenko over his shots in the Columbus-Anaheim game. I think if you're looking to attack a game for same-game parlays or anything like that, Anaheim and Columbus is a good one. I expect a lot of offense in this game, and you could throw some points together, some shots. So I like Marchenko on the Columbus side for shots. I'll take Cutter Gauthier for a point on the other side. I don't mind his shots on goal as well. I think he's going to be firing, playing with Beckett Seneca as well. Another guy I would take a strong look at. Going back to that Rangers game, Alexis Alexis Lafreniere getting some power play time. Look up on that top line. He's plus money for a point against, a Vancouver Canucks team that just isn't very good. I think the Rangers could score 4 or 5 in this game, and I have a feeling Lafreniere would be in on some sort of that offense. And Rasmus Andersson out in Calgary, a defenseman. Look at his shot totals over the last 4 or 5 games. He's been firing, and he gets a Sharks team that can bleed shots specifically to opposing defensemen. So it's a great spot for Rasmus Andersson to get at least 3 through from the back end.
All right, Marchenko overshots, Anderson overshots, also Gauthier and Lafreniere over in the points, yes. You said? Both overs.
That's right. Yeah. One point for each guy. And again, if you're looking to maybe make a little same game parlay out there, I would attack the Columbus-Anaheim game. I think you could find 3 or 4 guys you could group together and have a little fun with that one.
Jake Hahn, everybody. At JHahn4.
Stars must not play tonight. No Mikko Rantanen overs. It's become a Jake Hahn thing. Right. Amandia Hahn.
That's right. You're right. They played last night. He over on Mikko Rantanen running the goalies, apparently. That's what he's been doing.
Jake, Merry Christmas, man. Appreciate it.
You too, guys.
Survivor, next.
Want to bet smarter this holiday season? VSiN's Pro Holiday Special is the perfect gift. Get VSiN Pro access through May 1st for just $79. That's daily best bets, real-time splits, AI-powered prop projections, 24/7 video, and expert coverage of every major sport, from college bowls and NFL playoffs to March Madness and the Masters. Plus, postseason betting guides to make you a sharper bettor. Head to VSiN.com/subscribe and join us on the Sports Betting Network. Join the guru, John Hansen, at the intersection of prop betting and fantasy sports on Prop Points, only on VSiN.
You know what? I'm going to blame Andy Reid for cronyism because Matt Nagy stinks. A guy like Jefferson, you got to be a part of the solution, not part of the problem, and he's been part of the problem.
John and his guests will help you find the connection between the two and give you his expert advice on how to capitalize when a number is too good to pass up. Prop Points, weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on VSiN.
Numbers Game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Numbers Game, un partido de números. For those listening in Spanish. Live from Circa Resort Casino, downtown Las Vegas, Nevada, Gil Alexander, Kelly Bidlin in the hizzy.
Yeah.
Follow me on Twitter at Beating the Book and Kelly at Kelly by the Lawn. I believe that's correct. Before we get to Survivor, a couple tweets.
By the way, Gil, I could not find a good price.
This is the thing. We do, so what Kelly is talking about here is our little plight here in the great state of Nevada where, I tell you, once sports betting becomes legal here, this is going to be a place to be.
We often talk about the bets like we think about making that we talk about on a show. This was us talking about it, and then I'm going to go make it.
And it's just not available to us at the prices that are available to you in other jurisdictions. We can't find a Ravens miss, Steelers make
Or
as
even
low
just
as minus
division odds.
125. Or division, whatever.
Yeah.
We just can't. So there you go.
Minus 135 is the best I could find.
Are we complaining a lot today? Feels like it.
No, I think we complain a lot in general, so it's
Sky
probably just on brand.
Sky high. Better Brewer. Oh, no, I already read that one, didn't I? Yeah. Andrew Wren. If the playoffs started today, I think every road team would be favored on Wild Card Weekend. Well, certainly the 5-4s, the road team would be the favorite. But I don't know about everyone. Andrew, remember, there's 6 games now, Wild Card Weekend. Don't they bleed it into Monday also? Remember they have a Monday night game?
Super Wild Card Weekend.
Super Wild Card Weekend. Yeah, I mean, if the Texans, let's say just take the current standings. If the Texans...
you might be right.
If the Texans were at the Patriots would be favored, right? The Texans won't be a road favorite in that game, for instance. I don't think it's every game.
If it was played today, yeah, I don't know. That one's probably close to a pick'em.
I still think the Patriots would be favored a little bit. I don't know. Let's say
actually a fun game.
Green Bay at Chicago. Green Bay would be favored. We see that this week, right?
Yep.
So yeah, not every road. That would be the road team favorite for sure.
San Francisco at Philly would be an interesting line.
That would be, though. I think Philly would be favored still.
I think they would be too, but it's under 3
for sure.
I think it's under 3.
But I understand the point that Andrew Wren is making, but not. We'll see. I mean, in the end, how many of the 6? That will be interesting to see. Rocket Morton. Last night, the Rockets started a 5-game road trip at Mile High Denver. Next is a at below sea level New Orleans Thursday, followed by a return to Mile High Denver on Saturday. Why? No other team in the Southwest Division has a schedule like this. This harkens back to our buddy Dan Bespris. Dan Bespris, who comes on this show to talk NBA with us. Greatest audio in the business, we like to call it.
Love Dan.
Great dude. Dan always had this thing about teams from the Pacific time zone that go into the Mountain time zone, like on short rest. It was just some unbelievable. So he believes in this kind of thing as well.
Yeah.
Now this isn't mountain to below sea level back to mountain, to Rocket's point.
Yeah, I mean, rest, fatigue, injury factors they're such a large part of handicapping the NBA. It's unbelievable. What's funny, the thing that stuck out to me about that tweet is, man, have I heard more complaints about NBA scheduling this year than I feels like in the past several years. I mean, the Warriors' brutal start was it, and it was brutal. Like, I don't know if I've heard a team's schedule talked about more to start an NBA season.
Also, the Rockets complaint comes after, on a morning after a night where the Rockets got scred.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of those plays at the end. By the way, again, for those who missed it, 117-116 Rockets. Nuggets to inbound with 2 seconds left. Tim Hardaway Jr. basically trips over his own 2 feet. They blow the whistle. And then they, too short. Then they go to, the Rockets challenge it, so they go to replay. And that entire replay becomes, in my opinion, how do we justify the whistle?
Yeah, no, it's what it is. It's what it is.
Because if there's no whistle, and there shouldn't have been,
right,
it doesn't matter that Amen Thompson's shin may have touched Tim Hardaway Jr. It's so ridiculous. Anyway, might be bitter. Shall we talk some Survivor?
The other one's like, I was talking to Zach about this.
I guess not.
Sorry, so I was talking to Zach about this today, but it's like you go and pull up the box score too, and you're like, all right, what were the things that I was hoping for with the Rockets? You killed Denver on the glass. Like, this is what you've been doing all season. Jokic there, you kill him on the glass, and then it's immediately you look at the shooting numbers. Like, you out-rebounded Denver by 8. You shot 51% from the field and 48% from three. How do you lose this game? Well, when Jokic and Murray combine at the free throw line for be 22 for 26, first of all, they get 26 attempts and then make 22 of them. Yeah, there you go. Rockets coach Ime Udoka. Quote, just in general, I think most poorly officiated game I've seen in a long time. He was great afterward. He calls out the officials by name, Natalie Sago and Jamal Rouse. Have no business being out there. And crew chief Zach Zarba was acting starstruck. You're seeing all kind of inconsistent calls, and I'm sure we should have gotten a few more texts. I mean, it's a physical game, Jamal Murray says. It's tough for the refs to call both sides like dead even. I think they missed some calls on our end, and they missed some calls on their end, so I don't really think that was a issue tonight. Well, of course you felt that way.
Right, yeah.
Let's talk some Survivor. Let's do it.
Hello, you play to win the game.
It's time for your weekly Survivor preview with Gil and Kelly.
I'm a survivor.
Let's do this. Again, we'll do it through the prism of Circa Survivor, but also note, some things without Circa Survivor in mind if you are still alive in your Survivor. And in Circa Survivor's case, again, 10 entries left, 18,718 at $1,000 a pop. That was how many entries began for a total pot of $18,718,000. 10 entries remain. Only 5 favorites of greater than 4 points this week, though, Kelly. Here are the 3 that, well, again, we'll have to qualify this because one of them has to do with Circa Survivor. I might play it if I wasn't in Circa Survivor, and that's this. Let's go to the red check mark. So 3 of the 5 for Circa Survivor contestants. The first one's a red X because no one has it available to them. No one has the Lions available. If you are still alive in Survivor, though, in your neck of the woods, and you do have them available, I absolutely would play them. Lions, 7-point favorites hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, in Circa's case, there's no point in saving because nobody has them.
I was wondering why I saw an X on this earlier. Makes more sense.
Makes more sense. Gil. Zero remains, so it's an X. It's an X by default. The 2 that I wouldn't play by actual voluntarily not play. Eagles are at Washington. There is a home game against Washington Week 18. Normally, I would just say, well, they have a home game against the same team, so obviously this isn't the best place to play them. But Week 18 is squirrely, and with the Eagles' only chance of that game mattering if they were to lose the next 2 and Dallas were to win the next 2, that's not something to save for. 7 of the 10 have the Eagles left. I would not play the Eagles here. I know I'm a Washington guy, but that game scares me. And Eagles fans will tell you, those are always tough division battles. So I don't know. That game scares me off.
Also, it was one game against the Raiders. You really feeling super confident about Philly right now?
No. And then the Niners are at Indianapolis. 3 have the Niners remaining. Those 3 might have to play it. Pardon my voice. Those 3 might have to play it. But if I had a choice elsewhere, I don't think I would necessarily.
Yeah.
It's a little scary to me. The 2 that I would play, period, if these are the best options in terms of game theory, I absolutely would consider playing the other 2 big favorites, which is the Bills, 10-point favorites at Cleveland, even though you do have a Week 18 game hosting the Jets. The thing with the Bills is 1 of the remaining 10 have them available. I think that person should absolutely play the Bills. Now, I said that about the 1 entry that had the Bears available this past week, and that person elected not to play the Bears. 31-3 winners against Cleveland. Didn't matter in the end. Everybody advanced, but I was surprised that the one person who was on an island with the Bears decided not to play them. I think the one person with the Bills ought to play them here. And then the Texans, 14.5-point favorites against Las Vegas, have at it. 3 of the remaining 10 have the Texans. So I would assume, let's go to K-Flow now, K-Florenz. Forget what I think. Let's look at the grid here. These are the remaining 10 contestants in Circa Survivor. The column on the left, or in the middle, I should say, the column on the left is obviously their entry name. Column in the middle is who they're likely to play based on availability this weekend. So you see the Houstons, 2 of the 3 are going to play Houston. One of them has a choice between Houston and Philly. I would play the Houston one. A lot of people are going to be locked into Philly because it's their best option. The Buffalo, the C3 pick Z2 is the one with Buffalo available. I think K-Flow is right that they will take Buffalo. But there you see their options. What becomes even more interesting, though, is the Christmas availability, which follows this. Remember, there are only 3 games on Christmas when it pertains to Circa Survivor. Dallas at Washington, Detroit at Minnesota, Denver at Kansas City. Gary A10 is in trouble.
because Patrick Mahomes is gone, and he had left KC and Minnesota. So he is fenced in pretty much to Minnesota at this point. So when it gets to the conversation of will there be a chop, it's tough to chop before the Christmas quirk happens. And this year it happens like a week later than typically, because there's only 2 weeks after that, 2 quote-unquote weeks after that. I think any serious chop talk happens